Well, hi, everybody. I'm sorry for the confusion tonight. I'm Muffy Clark Gill, and I'm here in Naples, Florida. And between all the audio technical problems we've been going through, I had a fun little thing where a few minutes ago I was having my supper and an eagle went flying across the back of my porch. So it's been kind of crazy. Um, but I wanted to welcome you here to my studio, and why don't I just give us a tour while hopefully Connie can get back her audio. I don't know what happened to it, but meanwhile, let me turn things around and I will show you my studio while hopefully we can figure this out. If not, we'll ad lib it the best we can. So let me do this. Okay. So actually, right now, you are in my studio, which is basically a brand new little house, one bedroom, one bath house with a garage where I have my studio. I'm actually working, as you can see, I work in the kitchen of my little house. And this is a painting that I have in progress that I'll walk around the apply wax to the painting because this is a batik in process. And you can see here, this is the photograph that I'm working from that I photographed last May in Cartagena, Colombia. And I am trying to make my own version of this. And just to give you an idea, we can walk around here. This is my combination living room, studio, gallery. And this will give you an idea of some of the paintings that I do, like the one I'm working on right now. These are all batik wax and dye resist paintings. And the top ones are 30 inches wide by 40 inches tall. And they're all done on silk. And I am a master silk painter, which is a designation given me by Silk Painters International. And you can see how I put these to work right over here. If for people who've been following me at all, this is a new painting I just finished this last week based on a photograph I took at the Naples Botanical Garden. And it's showing a green heron. You can see up close. And this is all wax and dye on silk, hand painted. And above it are my doors from Morocco. And I've been doing a whole series of images called my Portal series. So the two down below are from my wash day series, and I'm going to swivel around so you get a better idea of my working space. And along with Connie, I also work in encaustic based on my photographs. So down here are some of my photographs from Morocco that I have gone back and done encaustic, painted hot wax over the photographs. And you can see here's a little sample. I took a workshop in Santa Fe, New Mexico last month, and I was playing around, and these are some of the things I was doing. I did these two oil paintings while I was there as well. This one shows the building that I rented an apartment in for 2 weeks. And this is a takeoff on a still life at George O'Keeffe's home and studio in Abiquiu, New Mexico. And then these are two other little encaustic pieces that I did at the workshop. And then you can see up here, this is a new collage I just did that I call Shibuya Cross Current. And it's based on a photograph I took of Shibuya Square in Tokyo. And you can see these are all Japanese newspapers, sashiko stitching, which is all these little umbrellas. And I think I must have counted 120 different umbrellas I cut out. Plus, I cut out all these little figures. And back here, you can see another painting from my water series. And we're going to This is a painting that I did this last year on antique kimono silk lining. And I'm going to take you out to my garage studio, port of the studio. And you'll have to veer past the cars, but here's my dye sink. I keep all my dyes down here in a refrigerator. Whoop, fun and games. But you can see, in order to preserve my dyes, I keep them in a refrige. So I use those to create these pieces. And up here are paintings, more batik paintings. And the one up here in the top left is another one from my wash day series, and I'm doing recycled plastics and stitching. And then over here, this little toucan is one of my very earliest batiks. I did this one, I think 25, 30 years ago, but I've always liked it. And I also wanted to show you while I'm here, for those who sign up to on our Instagram page, on Connie's page or my page, you have a chance to win one of these prints. This is a watercolor print. It's 17 by 20 size. It's signed by me. And I'm going to be giving away 3 of these prints for those who sign up on the link on my Instagram page. Now we're going to head back inside. And here's a classic, Expose Yourself to Art. This originally hung in my father-in-law's garage of all places. I just thought it was pretty funny. And I enjoy having it here in my workspace. So we're going to walk back in here again. And I will take you, this is the hallway. This is showing more collages that I've done. And then here's the bathroom. And last summer, one of my projects was to paint the walls of the bathroom. So I stenciled, there's 5 different stencils on this wall. All the walls have them. And whoop, and then we can stop in the bedroom, and you can see I have a couple more of my framed artworks in here. And I also use some of these on clothing. Sherry, I keep hearing a rustling. Hey, Connie, I mean, do you think you're getting some sort of volume?
I did. I got volume because I found out. Let me turn this off and see if it helps with the wrestling.
Yeah.
I found out it was my little speaker connection that I put in my mic. It
Oh,
took
okay.
because of the mic I couldn't hear. So as soon as I unplugged it, I could hear you.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, these are 2 little collages that I've made out of scraps. Whenever I have a batik finished, I always have these scraps left over after I've mounted it. So I went back in and mounted these on little 6x6 canvases. But I'll take you back in here now, and I'm going to just do a quick demo of how I do these pieces. Let me just sit this down here. I have the phone on a little tripod, so before I get it going, I'm going to just show you what I'm working with. This is my wax pan and brushes. And we'll walk over here to the stove, and you can see this is my toolkit. These are all my batik tools. You have jantings of various types. This is a shoe janting from Malaysia. Here's another janting that's more Indonesian in style. This is a 2-prong janting, so you can draw 2 lines at once. This one's real fun. This is a Hmong janting from Vietnam, and the wax comes out this thin spout and does really nice fine lines. And then this is a kiska, which is what they use on Ukrainian Easter eggs. Let's see if you can see that a little bit better. See, here's another one with my Kiska. I'm going to stick, since I got the top off, I'm going to stick this in here for a minute, let it heat up. And I do a lot of my drawing work using a brush. And this is a sheep's hair brush that is from Japan. Most of my drawing tools in wax and dye are from Japan because I found that I can do great applications adding dye. Like you can see over here, soaking in the cup. Wait a minute, there it is. These are my dye brushes. This is how I apply my liquid dyes to the silk. I have to wet the silk and then I go back and I apply the dyes. So let me just put this down for a minute. Oop. See if I can do this. I had a different stand I was going to set it up, but it just wasn't working right. Let's try that. Okay. So this flower pot is going to be yellow. So I am going to just paint some wax on and I just make sure this wax is hot enough. So you can see here, I'm applying the wax. There's a little bit of a blip on there that I want to save. And I can also do this with the Kiska. Sometimes I have more control by doing the Kiska than I do with the brush. But part of learning how to do the Japanese style batik known as rosame is drawing with a brush versus using a janting. The Japanese don't really use jantings, or at least traditionally they did not. They did all their drawings with a brush. And I learned all this from several workshops, plus I've been to Japan twice studying katazomi, which is a stencil paste technique of resist, as well as doing indigo and shibori and Japanese stitching known as sashiko. So you can see I'm painting, as soon as I put the hot wax on, it's drying almost immediately. And I'm just going to come down here a little bit because I have to do some more touch up in here. But you can see here. And I have a lot more work to do on this piece yet, but this will just give you the idea of what's going on. Let me just quickly show you, grab a paper towel here, how the Kiska works. And see here, I want to put little dots on the steps so you can see how the Kiska, actually, since that's going, I can go in here. And I'm able to draw these nice fine lines with the Kiska, so I have more control what I'm doing. Here's some more. And the step in this painting, just to give you an idea, has a lot of speckles in it. So I want to try to mimic that in my own way. So that's what I'm doing with this Kiska. I'm going to make lots of little dots overall. And I'll go back and use my janting on this too to make it a little bit bigger. But at least it just gives you the idea that these are many layers of wax and dye. And so far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different applications of dye that I've placed on this painting already. So if does anybody have any questions? And I mean, please put them in the comments or in the chat. I'm happy to try to answer any. Well, it doesn't look like we have anything, Connie. So do you want to take over?
Okay, I will. So, and if a question comes in, you can always answer it in the
In
chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'll start with the tour. Okay. So I've been doing encaustic since 2021, I believe, is when I first took my first class. I'm primarily a photographer, but encaustic gives me a way to use my photography and create original works. So I'll show you a little bit about my studio. It's not near as extensive as Muffy's. I'm in the garage. So this is my work table. This is a great big packing table that I ordered from Uline. It came in, they called and said they had a 300-pound delivery for me. And I'm like, oh, what did I do? So, but we got it put together. I'm going to walk around some of my tools. I have some of the same tools she has um, here. I don't use them as much because I'm not as proficient with them yet. I use a lot of these just bristle brushes, cheap bristle brushes, but I also use really nice hog's hair brushes. And then I have a lot of tools that I use for mark making. Kara, you might recognize this tool. This is my newest tool in the arsenal. These are brick stones that I'm actually have them weighting down 2 pieces that I've glued my photos to, and I was hoping to use them, but they aren't dry enough. So we aren't going to use them today. Come over here. I have a lot more brushes. So with encaustic, you have to fuse the wax after you apply it. So I melt it on the griddle. So I have different colors. I have clear, and then I have some colors that I'm going to be using. And then I use either a heat gun or I use a torch. I have a propane one. I haven't used it yet. The torch, this is a butane torch. And I work on boards like this. And I tape the edges to protect the edges and tape the back so that I have a nice clean back when I'm done. I take all of that off. And so a couple of the pieces I'm working on is this one in front of us, this field of poppies. I have 4 coats of wax on it, and I'm just starting to add some texture with the greens because I want to build up some texture. So I'm at a point that I'll need to fuse it with the heat gun or probably the heat gun because it is a less forceful heat. And then, when I was over here, I didn't show you some of my work. So I don't really have a gallery. So I set up this. So this is one of my latest encaustic pieces. This is my award-winning piece that won 3rd place in mixed media in the recent Twin Falls. My mind went blank. Art and Soul. It's right there. I even put the certificate up. So this piece, I didn't glue a photo onto the board. This piece, I added wax like this piece is prepared. This wood has 3 coats of wax on it. So I added layers of clear wax. And then I added some layers of colored wax to create a background. And I embedded a tissue paper print of the photo onto this piece. And then I worked on top of that, adding more wax. I etched lines and worked some of these lines I etched and worked some oil paint into them. Then I have, and I'm too close to give you a full view, we'll get back.
Yeah, your camera's a little bit blurry. Trying to figure that one out.
I don't know. Maybe my lens is dirty.
Well,
So,
it's sort of like pixelating a little bit.
okay, yours did that a little bit too as you moved around.
Yeah.
So this is a triptych that I did. This one I glued the photo to the board, and then it has a lot of texture. You can actually, I invite people to touch it and feel it because you can feel the textures that I created on it. And then a couple other pieces that I have hung out here is, the light's not real great on this one, is my eagle. I created texture, the trees and in the grasses. And then this piece, so you might think this looks familiar because of the one above it. This was my trial run for that piece. I love how this one turned out. However, when I did the other one, I didn't do exactly the same stuff. That's the magic of encaustic, is it's never going to turn out exactly the same way twice.
Just like batik is full of happy accidents.
Yes, yes. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to put my tripod, my camera on a different tripod so you can see what I'm going to do. Make sure I get it on. Okay, there we go. Okay, so on this piece, I've already added a little back, so I wax. So I want to fuse it because the fusing, that heat makes the wax adhere to the layer below. Or if it's the first layer on the photo, it adheres to the photo. Or in this case, the one that I put wax on it, the board, it adheres to the board. So between each layer, I fuse. So this is going to be noisy for just a second. We'll just do a little bit of fusing.
Yeah, I use a heat.
Go ahead, Muffy.
Yeah, I was saying I use a heat gun most of the time too. I learned at the workshop last month about using a butane torch, which was really nice. It gave a little bit of different texture.
You do get a little different texture with the butane torch. Um, but when I'm trying to create texture, I don't want that much intensity. I want just a light fusing. So you fuse until you want it to have a shine. Um, that tells you that you've got it hot enough to fuse. And then I can work more layers on top of this and actually build up texture so that it has more texture. So what I'll do is I'm going to work the textures in the grasses and then in the tree background up here above, and that'll be a lighter texture because it's more in the distance. I'll probably put more coats of clear over it to make it a little more uh, opaque. And then I'll work on my flowers, bringing them to the forefront and making them hotter. The other technique that I use, I talked about the um, tissue paper for that one piece. So this board that I've got the coats of wax on, I'm going to show you what I do with that one. I'm going to use the torch this time. And this is just I love this little torch. It's a I don't even know what benzomatic. Okay, I got to move that back. So I'm just going to warm my surface a little bit. So this doesn't make near as much noise as the heat gun.
Now, what is your source of butane? Is it for that? Is it in a canister or what?
Yeah, it's in a canister. I'll show you just a second. As soon as I show this little demo, I'll show you the canister. So this is a tissue paper print of a really close up of the center of a poppy. And I left some white edges, but I'm going to put it down and smooth it out. Now, I won't use the butane on top of this because it would burn it.
Yeah.
So I'll use a heat gun, but I'll show you this butane. It's in a little stand. So this
Oh,
is just
okay.
the butane canister.
Where did you get that? Did you get that at Lowe's or Home Depot or where?
Um, maybe.
You're like, man, where did I? I don't remember.
I might have got it on Amazon too. I'm not sure. So,
Yeah, because
so
that's neat. I like that.
yeah, I like it too. Sometimes the cord's a pain in the butt, but I have another butane one where the torch fits right on top of the can too.
Yeah, well, that's what I was using in my workshop. So that's what I was wondering.
Okay. So what I do with this tissue paper, so now I've got it so it's feels like it's down and it's smooth. This is a small piece, so it's much easier to work on than maybe a larger piece. I'm going to start on a lower heat and I'll get this warm this up. And what happens is this tissue paper, the wax will you can actually see it. I don't can if you can see it start coming through the tissue paper.
Yeah. Hi, Deb.
Can you see it?
Yeah, Deb says it's blurry.
It says it's blurry.
Uh, Deb, is it the picture's blurry or the image is blurry? You can type in the comments. No,
So is this
Deb,
blurry?
yeah, it is.
That is so odd. Okay, I'm going to I don't oh, I think this will work. We're
Yeah,
going to
it's
try
just a
something.
picture. Okay.
There. I wiped off my lens. Let's see if
Oh,
that makes a
that's
difference.
much better.
Oh,
Much
I had a
better.
dirty lens. Huh. As a photographer,
Ah,
I should know to
ah.
clean my lens. So you can see where it's shiny, the wax has started to come through. So I'll keep working that and then I'll start doing some wax over the top of it. That tissue paper just becomes really, really translucent.
Yeah, it looks
Um,
a whole lot better.
so anyway, that's some of the demos I had for right now. I
Why
didn't
don't you
show
hold
you.
your picture up again, the other picture up again, because now we can see it better. Yeah, no, put it down on the table because all we're seeing is the top. That's better. Yeah, much better.
That.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and oh, I know what I was going to show you on this one. So I have a little. Oops.
Oop, you
Um,
froze up.
I froze.
Yeah, for a second. It's okay now.
Okay. Okay. So I have a little oops right here on the edge of this piece where I dropped something and it gouged the wax. I'm going to use my heat gun and heat that. I may have to apply a little extra wax. We'll see. Nope. That's all it took. It just peeled right in. That wax melted around and just seeped right into that little gouge. So when I have a oops, sometimes it's a lot more work than that to fix, but that's kind of what it does. So what I'm giving away that you'll be able to sign up for is this little 4x4 encaustic piece on an easel that I did. I have a whole collection of these little 4x4 pieces, and we'll be making some more. So that's what I'm doing for my giveaway. So does anyone have any questions? And thanks, Deb, for letting us know.
Yeah, she's a soap painter as well, and she's also been one of my students.
Okay. Okay, so one of the things we were going to talk about, I'm going to turn my camera so I can talk to you. One of the things we were going to talk about is how we are connected. So we both have websites through art storefronts. And that's, well, actually, that's not the first place we got connected. And I don't think I've told Muffy this.
Oh yeah.
A friend of mine that was, when I first got my website, was kind of giving me pointers about Instagram because I had 100 followers. And she was giving me pointers, and she says, you need to follow this gal, and sent me her profile.
Oh,
So she is a fabric dyer.
uh-huh.
Jeannie with Traveling Dye
What's her name?
Company. Jeannie, Traveling Dye Company is her company.
Oh, I'll have to look her up. Okay.
So she follows you, and she hadn't told me to follow you. So that was really what, when I started following Muffy on Instagram, and then realized she also had an art storefronts website. So that's kind of where our connection came in. And then when I started doing the encaustic, we thought this would be a fun way to share kind of the differences. We use some of the same tools. I am not as successful with these tools, and I forget all the names,
Well,
as
those are
you
all
are.
Janting. Those are Jantings.
And I don't, the wax doesn't flow out of them. And then I have a kits,
Kiska.
and it's been okay. And then this is another Janting.
Mm-hmm.
But let me show you some of my favorite tools. I don't know if you have any of these, Muffy.
Well,
These,
here's one. Have you seen this one before?
no.
Half a tennis ball
What do you do
with
with it?
you catch drips. I mean, yeah.
Oh,
So when you're dipping everything in the wax, it let me see. Yeah, it catches the drips.
that's a great idea. That
Actually, Jonathan Evans from Colorado taught me that one. He's president of the Batik Guild.
what's this? I do have and have been successful with, if I can find it.
What's nice, Connie, about the tennis ball is that when it gets filled up or it got enough wax on it, you just crack the wax off by flexing the sides of the tennis ball and throw it back in the wax pan again.
Okay, I like that.
See,
I've
see how
held
that
like a
cleans
paper
all
plate.
out?
Yeah, I've used a paper plate when I'm trying to catch strips. I do have an electric Kitska,
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
haven't used. I
successful.
have an electric janning and I never use it. I just use the traditional ones.
Okay, well, I'm successful with that. But these are my new. Whoops, this one doesn't belong. These are my newest tools. I do have one more. These are from Diamond Core. They are, Diamond Core makes tools for potters. So
Oh,
potters carve in the clay.
you're right.
My gosh, I learned about these at a workshop in Vancouver in December last year.
Diamond
I
core.
can I can carve a line. This is a broader line, but like this one carves a really fine line. And this one does too. I have not been as successful with this one, but I'm going to play. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then, well, these aren't my newest tools, actually. I just used these for the first time today.
What are
These are
those?
scrapers. They're scrapers.
Oh, okay.
So when I scrape, like when I put my first few coats of wax on the poppies, I had some ridges and I scraped the ridges. Or if I wanted to scrape back an area.
Mm-hmm.
So these came from Encaustic Plates is the name of the company.
Oh, okay.
Um, and I really like them. I'd love one of their encaustic plates, but they're super expensive. I'd have to sell a bunch before I got one of those.
Have you seen these?
Those look like cookie
Biscuit,
cutter.
yeah, they're biscuit cutters from Amazon. And what I find is really fun is you can stick them in the hot wax and print with them, but you could also heat them up with a torch and then make impressions in the wax and then fill them in with the impressions with another color.
Oh, I like that because it leaves a little bit of a
Yeah,
border.
it leaves a ring.
So let's see.
So you
Have you
see, here's
different sizes? Yeah,
yeah,
that
it
makes
comes in
sense.
a set of different sizes. I think there's like six of them here.
I like that. Have you used feathers in any of your work?
No.
I have seen them used, and I only have two little feathers here. I picked them up in my driveway, but I want to use them. And I'm heading for a workshop in Sheridan, Wyoming with Claire O'Neill. on September 5th. And she said, bring things you want to embed. And I'm not one that really does a lot of embedding into my work, but I'm going to take these with me because we're going to be outdoors photographing horses, and we're going to then do encaustic with it. And I don't know, these might work well in
Well,
something.
you might try these too. It's just taking a piece of upholstery foam and
Uh-huh.
cutting it into shape, and then you dip it into hot wax and draw with that.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, Gasali taught me that one. But you can use upholstery foam to make all sorts of different stamping blocks.
Very cool. Very cool. Um,
So we
I
have
have,
so
I
many
have
things
that.
the same and so many things that are different.
Yes, we do. And I have a whole bunch of gadgets that, yeah, I have, but I haven't used yet. And sometimes I use pan pastels to enhance colors, which I will probably do on these poppies. Um, after I do some more layers of wax, the pan pastels help with the colors. So I use that, and then I will. I have one that I wanted to get ready for today, but I glued it to the board and it's not dry enough to start working with. But it's one that I want to do the wax. I want to do the layers of wax, and then I want to carve in around the flower petals and see how that turns out. So, are there any questions? Deborah, since you do this kind of stuff, you might have something to share.
Oh, just so you can see this, this is an acoustic piece. I did it with Lorraine Glesner. And we took the plastic stencils that you can buy from
Yes.
Temu and painted the wax through the plastic stencils. So we got these wonderful raised motifs.
Yes, I have some plastic stencils. I haven't used them very much, but I didn't get them from Temu. I haven't gotten on Temu. I'm
Well, I
leery.
got on there and then I realized that it was not a good place to be, so I didn't go back. I bought these. But this is just, using different paper. I put a layer down on the encaustic, and then these are another one of my photographs in Japan, and this is from origami papers. And this was a print of an old fan I found at a yard sale that I went back and colorized with the encaustic wax.
I like that. I like using the pigmented colored wax, encaustic wax. Um, when I first started my first couple of pieces, I didn't use pigment. I just used wax, created textures, and incised, and then used the oil paint to work into the incised lines. But I have loved using the colored wax since I've started it.
Hmm. Well, Deb said she missed the first half. Deb, you can go back on. We're going to have the reel posted anyway, so you can go back on and watch it again.
Yes, I'll
Because,
I'll save it and repost it
yeah.
and post it as a reel.
Hmm. And then I can share it to my page as well.
So okay, great. Yeah, I'll invite you to collaborate on that reel,
Yeah.
so it will go on your page.
Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah. Yeah. We're in several different spin groups together. We have what we call chapters at large. So we did one with large format, and last year for the large format, we took 44 by 44-inch silk scarves, and we each made a design based on a kaleidoscope, and we hung them together as a group of 9 panels. And the shirt I'm wearing is my batik that I had in it that I then went and photographed and had printed because I have a line of wearable art as well as the paintings. And I have those on my website under wearable art. So you can do, I have some shoes, I have some tops, I have some hoodies, but they're all based on my artwork.
That's cool. That's cool. So the only wearable I've done, I have one T-shirt on my website, with one of my photos that I change the shape of to get it into the t-shirt. I want to add more, but I just haven't gotten there yet. But I
Well,
did that with the photo.
you need to do some calendars too, because I've got I just got new calendars put up. So I have 4 different calendar designs that are on the website.
Okay, I am choosing not to do calendars this year because I sold very few last year.
Well, I figured the ones that I had left over, I'm just going to frame because the quality is good enough. I'm just going to mat and bag them to use for shows and
And
giveaways.
yes, and I can do that. And I have a lot left from last year, so
Mhm.
I wasn't going to do them last year, and I had a few people ask, and so I decided to do them. So I don't know unless I did pre-orders. But I haven't gotten as many new photos this year because we aren't out camping this year. We haven't been once. So we're
Oh,
not getting out like we normally do. Normally I have tons of new photos every year. So we're getting out, like I went to a flower patch the other night and did some photos of sunflowers and bees. I get out locally, but it's not like being somewhere for 2 weeks and exploring every nook and cranny and finding new things to take pictures of.
oh yeah. No, I know that. I miss my RV. I had an RV for 4 years and traveled all around the country in it. So,
Okay, yeah, we have a pull behind trailer,
yeah.
and that we have been traveling in the summer. We'll go for 2 weeks at a time, usually every month. But
Well, you're in
this,
a good place to be to do it.
we pull the drift boat behind it and fish, but we've done fished fewer and fewer times, and so hopefully next summer we'll get out again.
Yeah.
But so anyway, well, do you have any exhibitions coming up?
Actually, I do. I'm going to be in one in Stuart, Florida, starting the first week of September, called Uncommon Threads. And I have some mixed media collage pieces in that one. And one of them is one of my kimono pieces. I don't know if you saw them on my website, but I've been doing these mixed media kimono style wall hangings, and they're using silk and papers. And one of those got in. And then I did a series of 3 women's torsos based on the swimsuit forms you get at Costco, and I used them with recycled plastics and made 3 figures that I hang together called Three Boss Women. And that's
Ah,
going to be the next show.
is that
And
one on
then,
your website?
yeah.
I'll have to go
And
look.
then, if it isn't, I'll go back and post it again.
I
And
love the
then
name of it.
Three Boss Women. So, because in Trinidad, they have a saying that women is boss. So, so I called it that. And then a week later, I have to go to Ormond Beach because I'm in an exhibition at the International Society of Experimental Artists, of which I'm a member. And the piece is a collage that I did that's called Hands Down, and it's all Japanese newspapers and 2 x-rayed hands from a newspaper ad in Japan. And that piece also had gotten into the Art Fields exhibition, which is a 12-state regional exhibition. So those 2 are coming up.
Cool.
Then I
You've got
have
one.
ones, yeah. So I have those coming up, and then I am vice president of exhibitions for the National Association of Women Artists Florida chapter. So I've been busy arranging shows for our members. So we have one coming up in St. Petersburg, Florida in January, one in Bradenton, Florida in March, and then I have one here in Naples at the Botanical Gardens starting at the end of April. So the little green heron that I did as a batik is
I
for
saw
that
that.
show
I like that one. I
because
like.
the title is called Nature's Palette.
Cool. Well, I belong to the Art Casual Art Society here locally, and we do shows. We just had a booth at our fair. We each, several of us had a few pieces exhibited, and it was, and they were for sale, but it was mostly about reaching new members and telling people about our organization. But we're having a show September 6th here in Burley at the 208 Grill. I will not be in that show because I will be in Wyoming. I put that show together, but I'm going to be out of town. So, but a lot of the other artists here locally will be in that show. And then we're starting to plan the rest of our fall shows around the area. I believe we have one coming up in November in Albion, which is a very small town here close to us. Um, they're wanting more Western cowboy type art. So it'll be kind of selective who puts their stuff into it or
Well,
not.
maybe you'll do something with that from what you're doing, with the Dude Ranch.
Yes, I think I can. And I can do like the eagle that I showed you guys. I can, that one is suitable. I have a couple of different horse pictures. I have one of the horse's butts that I call tailgating in the pasture, which I think is funny. Not everyone thinks it's funny, but I do. And then I've got two horses drinking out of the river side by side, out of the shallow river. That's my most sold piece. I'm actually going to do an encaustic of it, but I don't know if I'll have it done in time for November.
Well, we'll
Um,
have to do some trades.
yes. So, and then I have a barbed wire one. So I definitely have some that will work. So,
Yeah.
but I need to join some more organizations. I'm not really good on organizations, so I haven't haven't done a lot of that. So I probably need to branch out in my organization that I join.
Well, you meet a lot of people and you have a lot of exhibition possibilities when you do.
Okay. I'll look into that women's art. You'll have to send me a link for the women's artist one.
Hmm.
The women's artist.
Yeah, they now they actually are doing jury right now. I think they're doing it through September 15th, but they only jury twice a year, and this is the oldest women's artist organization in the country.
And you have to be juried to get into it. They jury you to
Yes.
be
Hmm.
accepted. Okay. Send me the link and I'll see if
Yeah.
I can fit into it. So um, I think that would be great. I'm just looking at our list, make sure we did not miss out on something that we thought we would cover. So, um, Deborah, do you have any questions? Do we have someone else on?
I can't tell. So,
Um, yes. So, are there any questions?
well, I guess you look for the link and sign up for the link in our bios, and they'll bring where you can sign up for the chance to win either your print or Connie's mini encaustic.
And we'll be doing the drawing for the giveaway on,
Tuesday,
yes, Tuesday. Sorry.
yeah, the
On
26th.
so I think that will do it. I want to thank you for joining us, and thanks Muffy for doing this. It took us a while to put it together. We've been working at this for several months.
Yeah, we started talking about this back May, I guess.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but here we are.
we made it, and we finally got the live to work like we wanted it to.
Yep, yep,
So I appreciate everyone joining us.
yep. Thank you for joining us, and I hope to see everybody soon. And the old saying, like and subscribe.
And yeah, right. And follow us if you're not
And
already
follow us.
following. Yes, if you're not already following, follow us.
Follow us on Instagram and on Facebook.
Yes. And I'm on TikTok too.
Ah,
So, okay. Well, thank you,
well,
everyone.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.